Hey everyone, myself Taskir and you are watching WsCubeTech YouTube channel. Guys, in this video, I am going to talk about the enhancements reports, and we are going to see a very newly introduced report which is speed report, and it is in experimental phase right now, so that we can say that it's not fully rolled out update, or it's not a fully rolled out feature in Google Search Console. So you can see on my laptop screen you have this speed experimental feature over here in the enhancement section, and we are with this WsCubeTech domain. So now we are going to analyze what kind of reports this speed section is providing us. So once you come to this speed section, you are going to see two variations over here. One is mobile variation, another one is desktop variation. So what this report is actually carrying is carrying the speed overview of your web pages on the mobiles and on the desktop. So let's pick one thing from here. Right now I'm picking this desktop thing, right? So we'll be clicking on this open report, and now you'll be able to see that we are having three indexes over here which are slow and moderate and fast. So your website speed is categorized into three factors, which is slow, moderate and fast. And for this particular website, the most of the URLs are slow, right? And let's see why they are slow, right? So the reason, the issue over here, you can see it's mentioned over here is FCP issue. Now here is only one issue, which is FCP issue, but in some cases you are going to see another issue which will be like FID issue. Now let me explain you what is FCP and FID. The full form of FCP is first contentful paint, and full form of FID is first input delay. Now what is FCP? See, suppose if a user comes to your web page, and then the time which is taken by your web page or your website to actually get rendered into the web browser, that particular time is considered as FCP. That metric is actually FCP. So Google actually sees that metrics FCP and analyzes that score, right? So on the basis of that score, whether that score is too high or that score is too low, your website or your web page can be bought into these things, right? It can come into slow, it can come into moderate, it can come into fast, depending on what kind of FCP score your web page or website is carrying. The second thing, which is FID, which we can say that first input delay. Now this first input delay is, suppose a user comes to your website and he or she firstly interacts with your website. The first interaction that they make with your website, and then after making the first interaction, your website sends some response via browser, right? So the response time that your website actually carries is called as FID, or first input delay. Now let me tell you what are the benchmarks for these things. So you have this FCP index over here, and you have this FID index over here. So if your website is having a FCP matrices for less than 1 second and FID matrices for less than like 100 milliseconds, then your website will be coming into the category of fast. And then similarly you have different scores for moderate and different benchmarks for the slow, right? So your website is coming into fast, or we can say your URL is coming into fast, slow, moderate. In these categories, actually depends on the score of these two matrices, right? So this is how it actually calculates, and that data is coming from Chrome user experience. So the users which are browsing on the Chrome browsers, this is their experience report, right? Now let's explore something more. Let us click on this detail section, and now you see this is over here, validation is started. So validation, you can go for the validation once you have fixed these issues. So if you have fixed these issues, you are going to see validate fix section over here, which is now see details over here. So you can click on that particular thing, and you will see this kind of things, which is validation started, right? So for the validation to start, you just have to fix those things. Now you are seeing different URLs over here, right? So this is a URL, and you have similar URLs, 46 similar URLs over here. So let me click on this thing, and then you are going to see the problem over here. The FCP is 3.4 seconds. You can come with these URLs, and you can open these URLs in somewhere around in Google page speed insights, right? So you can see what kind of issues are there, what kind of recommendation you are getting to increase your web page's speed. So you can follow those instructions, you can follow those suggestions and implement those suggestions by yourself, or by the help, or by your developer, right? So once you fix those issues, once you followed those instructions, you can come over here, click on the validate fixes, and that's it. It will be showing like validation started. After some time your website will be validated, and if everything goes right, if everything goes as expected, you are going to see some fixed issues over here, right? So you're going to see a decline in the number which is showing over here. So this is how this speed report is going to work in Google Search Console. It's still in experimental phase. We can see some more features coming soon in this report, right? And definitely it's gonna help us a lot, because earlier the problem was that we used to find a URL and then we used to manually input that URL into this page speed insight tool in of Google, right? So after putting the URL over here, we have to analyze the different things. But what the great thing is over here is what Google believes. So if your URL is having some speed issue, you do not need to manually check those URLs. We are going to tell you what URLs are having problem and what URLs are absolutely perfect. So you can analyze those URLs only. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. That's it for today's video. See you in the next video. Till then, a very good bye.